Noi, noi, noi. Wah, wah, wah.
Yes, Jaden, just put in your around your neck. That's it. Let them get dirty. Oh, we're gonna ride over there. Club shout out yan. Sakay tayo dyan. Sana nag-enjoy kayo guys sa aming vlog.
Snake flag. No,
Sakay tayo dyan, Jaden.
I want. Actually, why? Actually, why?
Wow. Train. Lagay mo dito, Jaden. Lagay mo lang yan sa leg mo. Pag mong yung get that dirty.
Can you just scary one?
Ha? You're next.
Do seatbelts? Okay, this is gonna be fast.
Salamat guys. Love and support nyo sa 3 Divas Miranda. Mega love shoutout Kuya Mandy Salonga, Hansang Pabulong ng Vienna, Ate Rain Mix Vlog. Yan. Sister Marta, Sister Anna, Miranda family, Nana, Lourdes, mega love shoutout. Yan, sa aking mga
That's scary.
yan,
It's
Ate Abby,
scary.
Ate Kayla, mega love shoutout. Yan, everyone, mga supporters sa Miranda 3 Divas, mega love shoutout po. Thank you.
How was that?
Lahat ng team. Entertainment. Love shoutout. Team Artist Entertainment. Love shoutout.
Daddy.
Kuya Boy
Daddy,
Orca
seven.
Official. Love shoutout.
And mommy's.
Yan. Solid Team Book. Mami Angel. Love shoutout po. Sir Santi. Sir Maynard. Mami Angel. Yan. Ate TV. Love shoutout. Hi. Love shoutout everyone. Ayan, B3 daw tayo guys, B3. B3, we're here. The
Are we
front.
over here? Are we over here? Oh, Daddy is
It's okay. It's okay.
Ayan, mega love shout
Can
out.
we can see the crocodiles?
Sila Mia Bita, mega love shout out.
Hello.
Mia Bita, marami pong salamat. Ayan, thank you everyone.
Hello.
Kuya Rico, mega love shout out. Rico Music Lover. Si Marta, sa Tiana, si Rain Mix Vlog. Ayan. Lidmar, Sister Lidmar. Tapar, shout out. Sa inyong lahat dyan, mega love shout out.
Bing bong.
Good afternoon, wildlife explorers. Welcome to the Bronx Zoo Wild Asian Monorail. My name is Jerry. I'll be your tour guide, and Chris is our driver. Just for everyone's safety and on your, please everyone stay seated at all times, and everyone keep their hands, head, and arms inside the car at all times. Please no food or drinks other than water on the monorail. I'm going to take you today to see the wildlife of China, India, Cambodia, Nepal, and more. all without even leaving the Bronx. And I'll point out if any animals are hiding at this time. We're going to begin our trip crossing over the Bronx River. It's the only freshwater river in New York City. The Bronx River is a habitat for turtles, ducks, geese, fish, migrating birds use it. It's an important resource for wildlife right here in the good old Bronx, USA.
Yun na, makikita mo na yung
Coming
mga-
out first meadow, we have herds of axis deer, Barasingid deer, black-buck antelope. Asia is the continent with the largest number of deer species, well known for its diversity of deer. See some peafowl in the middle there. They are the national bird of India.
Look at that.
Males are the peacocks, females are the hens, and babies are the chicks. And the males are starting to shed their feathers off as mating season. That's why you see them scattered about. As you come along the back fence, up along the fence and on the hill, you'll see the back-street deer. And along the back fence, they have a large deer with golden color. The deer with the white spots up there are axis deer. Here in the more in the front, you'll see some of the back-street deer. They have a very pale-looking coat. There are some species of the red deer of Central Asia. Here's one of the keepers of this meadow.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm part of the Wild Asian Keeper Team. We call this area Kanha Meadow, where we care for about 40 Barasingid deer, 15 axis deer, 10 black buck, and a pair of muntjac. We start our day by checking on all the animals, making sure they are healthy, behaving normally, and safe. Sometimes,
Behaving
fawns and calves
normally.
are born overnight. Newborns are given a neonatal exam, which includes weighing, vaccination, and tagging for identification purposes. While the animals are in the meadow, we prepare their nighttime holding areas so that they have a safe and clean place to spend the night.
You see a couple three of the male Barasingid deer up there along the fence. Their name comes from their antlers. Barasinga means 12 points, and that describes a male's antler. Extinction of a species, of course, you know, means they no longer exist. Next animals you'll see, we're on the very brink of extinction. Mongolian wild horses actually went extinct from the wild, but they've been in North American and Asian zoos for over a century,
What are
including
you
here.
doing?
Have
Yep,
meeting.
they're having a little
They're having a
meeting.
meeting.
We don't know what
Having
they're
a
talking
meeting.
about, but I bet you they're talking about us. Yeah.
They looked at those people.
You can see that
Having meeting.
they have a stockier build, shorter legs than our domestic horses, and their mane is short and stands erect, but it has no forelock across the forehead like domestic horses have. They are, in fact, the only true wild horse species still in existence. They once ranged the plains of Central Asia, but were last seen in the wild in the 1960s. The Bronx Zoo received its first horses in 1902, and we've had over 50 foals born since then. Also known as Przewalski's horse, there have been some reintroductions back into the wild in recent years of these horses. And some places in China, Mongolia, so now we can say Mongolian wild horses are once again living in the wild again. Here's one of our field scientists working in Asia.
Farmers.
Jonathan Slatt, and I'm in Russia, Northeast Asia, working for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I believe that wildlife has a place on this earth. My job is to find practical solutions that allow people and wildlife to thrive together. Przewalski's horse went extinct in the wild in the 1960s. On a recent trip to Kazakhstan, I thought about the ongoing and successful efforts in that country to bring these horses back to the Central Asian steppe. The world needs happy stories, to watch the impossible become possible, and to see hope restored. That's what's happening today with Przewalski's horse.
All right, just stop temporarily. We're removing very right now. The Bronx Zoo participates in species survival plans, working with other zoos across the country through the American Zoological Association to keep herds genetically diverse. Just coming up in the next exhibit, we'll see some of the gaur, the world's largest wild cattle. A male gaur can be 6 feet tall, 10 feet long, and weigh 2,000 pounds. That's a ton. Big enough to fight off almost anything with that size and those horns, even tigers. They are losing their wild space to farming in India, and sometimes they catch diseases from domestic cattle. We have a large herd now. We had several calves born over the last year. You can tell the males from the females by the horns. The males' horns point up, while the females are more curved and point in at each other.
Sa atin yan ay
Here's
kalabaw.
one of the keepers of the Gower to tell you how our herd got so much bigger this year.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm a wild animal keeper here in Wild Asia. When the Bronx Zoo received 2 female and 1 male Gower from the San Diego Zoo, it took a couple of introductions before all the animals were comfortable. But after a little bit of time, the 3 new animals fully integrated into the herd, and we have the family that you see today. A family group of Gower can consist of up to 40 individuals and is typically led by an older adult female called the matriarch. Since the 2 females and 1 male have been added to this family, there have been a number of offspring. This is important because Gower are considered to be a vulnerable species, so it's vital to maintain a healthy growing herd here at the zoo.
The fence you see coming up in front of us is here to shield the next exhibit from the noise of departure, parkway, traffic behind us. Once we round the bend and past the fence, we'll be looking for a neighbor tiger. Tiger stripes can make a good camouflage. Go keep your eyes
Tiger's
open. If
coming
it's
up.
down for we do it, go ahead and shout out. But please, everyone, remain seated while we're looking at the tiger.
Wanna see the tiger?
Tigers are so secretive, researchers have a hard time finding them in the wild. They'll set up motion-sensitive cameras just in hopes of getting a picture of a tiger as it walks through the jungle. Then they can identify tigers by their individual stripes.
Where's the tiger? Sleeping.
Which ones? Oh, they were
Hiding. Where?
All right, we have a sighting, but it says it was in the bamboo grass right before the pond there. I didn't see him, but for our observers in the first cars think they saw him, and sometimes they go into the brush and sleep.
Probably sleeping.
Tigers will hunt a variety of animals
I
in the
see one.
wild, but they prefer big and medium-sized deer. They can gorge themselves on as much as 40 pounds of meat in a fresh kill. That's like eating 160 hamburgers in one meal. But after a meal like that, they don't eat again for several days. But our tigers here at the zoo get fed every day. So I guess he was in the brush that our observer in the first class saw. All tigers are endangered because of loss of habitat, loss of radiation poaching has reduced their numbers in the wild. WCS has been working throughout Asia on tiger conservation for decades, and it's starting to show increases in their numbers in the wild. Sure to get the Tiger Mountain today, you can get a closer look, sure, get a look at the native tiger, also known as Siberian tiger.
I'll give you a call once you get off this thing.
All right, and this is the northern end of our first meadow, the Conha Meadow. You can see some black buck antelope about the center. Further back are some of the white spotted axis deer. Black buck are small animals. Females retain the light tan coat they were all born with, and they all have a white underbelly, while the males mature into a dark brown coat and grow long spiral horns. And the Bronx Zoo has exhibited axis deer since 1899. We're approaching 2 small exhibits. When you see the bamboo growing in the first exhibit, we're looking for the babirusa. Babirusa is a pig. Males have tusks protruding through the top of their nose. We have Linus in the first. Was it Linus in the first or Kenneth in the first? He's see if you get their skin color helps them blend in with the mud and rocks. He's sleeping out of view, and Sprout is in the second exhibit. He's just starting to show his tusks, or starting to sprout his tusks. Males use their tusks to fight off other males.
Dito talaga tayo sa Bronx.
Females.
It's like 2 hours away from Brooklyn
They
or
are endangered. Well, you can't miss the next
2.5
animal
hours away from the house.
because it's going to be
Staten
real
Island.
close, and it's the largest land mammal, although becoming some of the rarest in the wild. Coming up on the right, you'll see Patty, one of our Asian elephants.
That's the
She's
patty
over
of
50 years
elephants.
old now. The Asian elephants weigh around 10,000 pounds. Each elephant can eat 200 pounds of hay a day. Actually, 60 gallons of water a day as well. Comes right up
Ayun,
on the
ayun, I
right.
see the
They get
tail of
lots
the...
of fruits and veggies, special treats every day. They get lots of special treats, including baths and pedicures. The elephant's trunk is an incredible tool. They have 40,000 muscles in their trunk alone. That's more than a human body. And the strength
Oh,
of it
shy.
over trees,
Don't turn around.
heavy objects, rocks, tree logs. But they can gently pick up the smallest of objects as they have a finger-like extension on the end of their trunk.
I don't know, they're only in the top one.
And they call them.
One more? What the Africa? I see a lot. But they have big land, right? Big forest.
Elephants have a lot of blood rushing through their ears, so they flap their ears to cool the blood, and that helps cool the rest of their body down. That's kind of neat. All right, keep your eyes open for signs of the greater one-horned rhinoceros. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we care for 5 endangered Indian rhinos here at this time. And we've had 14 baby rhinos born here over the years. Callie's out today. She's one of our moms. She's probably in the mud wallow or near it, coming up on the right. She had a calf a few years back. The female
No, don't
rhinos
put
are
your
pregnant
face,
for
face.
16 months and gave birth to a baby that could weigh
Sorry.
100 pounds or more at birth. Talk about a big baby. But they wean in 12 to 16 months, and by the time it's 2 or 3
No, be
years old, the
careful,
calf
though.
is old
Soft
enough
toys.
and goes off on its own. She's in the mud wallow as you come along.
Mud is right there.
Now the rhino skin may look thick and tough, but it's not. It's just folds of skin that make it look thick. And their skin is very sensitive again. And to protect their skin from eating insects, they use a mud wallow every day. They'll stomp around, mold the mud wallow to their shape. In the wild, a rhino forms a mud wallow during a rainstorm by stomping around mud. And that's how they protect their sensitive skin.
The rhinos you see here are Indian rhinos. We work with habitats all over the world that are homes to rhino community. Here is a note from our field office in Sumatra, and Bulan, who works with the Sumatran rhino. Sumatran rhinos are the smallest of the world's rhinos, and they are considered critically endangered.
My name is Bulan Musguri, and I'm the Species Conservation Specialist for WCS Indonesia program. We carried out an island-wide survey of the last wild population of Sumatran rhinoceros in Indonesia. With so many unknowns on how to manage Sumatran rhinos in the wild
Nak, don't put your face. It
Our
might hurt you
study
with the
showed that
voice.
we must protect them at source. The cost of doing nothing could be the extinction of the species, and I can't imagine that.
You see African rhinos today as well over at the zoo center. That's a big building with a dome. There's 2 of them. The greater one, the African white rhinos have 2 horns. As we come in this exhibit, Asia is the continent with the first and largest species of deer. Look back, you might have seen that deer along the fence as we came in. If you look back to the left where you get to where the front of the cars are, you can see a couple of the Formosan Sika. Formosan Sika, they have white spots. They are from the island of Taiwan, formerly known as Formosa. Along that second fenced-in area, the center exhibit, you can see a couple of the sandbar deer. There's 2 and a large brown deer. It's to them is a hog deer, and then further over to the right is a Indian muntjac. Sandbar deer, the largest deer of southern Asia. Males can weigh up to 650 pounds, stand about 5 feet at the shoulder, and grow antlers up to 3 feet long with 3 points on each paw. Hog deer get their name because they're short and they're heavy like hogs. They run like hogs, they creep along, stay low. They'll duck under things rather than try and jump over. And the Indian muntjac deer, a small reddish-brown deer, that's an adult female. When you see a kind of a dried up stream coming, look where it's coming from. And up in the back left corner is the rest of all the sandbar deer, as well as some nilgai antelope. Nilgai are antelope. They have a tan coat and a white rump, black white stripes at the hooves. Looks like they're wearing socks. Males mature into a dark bluish gray coat and grow horns. Nilgai means blue bull in the Hindi language. As you come in this next exhibit, look to the back fence, the shortened fence. You see right about center of the fence is a little brown deer just sitting in the leaves. These little brown deer, China's tufted deer, weigh less than 40 pounds. So they hide very well. We're looking up along the fence in the back corner. There might have been one in that back left corner. Let's see. They have a tuft of hair in their forehead, a white tail and rump, but they can be really tough to find a lot of times. Males have long upper canines that show like fangs. Some people like to call them the vampire deer. These beautiful little deer are very rare in zoos outside of China. They rarely come out where we see them, especially in the nicest weather. Well, now we're crossing back over the Bronx River again. There's a great view at 35 feet above the water. Wow. Wildlife has been returning to the Bronx River after decades of restoration. And it might have been an egret or a crane. You can see more of the Bronx River and learn about local wildlife at our Bronx River Walk and parking area via the Bronx River Gate. There's a beautiful waterfall over there. And you can take the zip line back and forth across the river. And you come into the next exhibit, look to the rocks in the center of the exhibit. It might be a lot, some on top, some on the left side. You'll see markhor, wild goats from Central Asia. Males have long corkscrew-shaped horns and a nice mane of fur around their neck and shoulders. Females don't have that mane, but their horns are short. They all have splayed hooves. That means their hooves spread apart. It helps them to grip those rocks, walk up steep inclines. You'll see some coming along on the right. These animals can jump 6 to 8 feet in a single bound and only climb trees to get at the leaves. Markhor are the national animal of Pakistan. There's a male, a majestic male coming up on the right. Their horns gave them their name because Markhor actually means snake eater. And there was a legend that they killed and ate snakes, and the snakes became their horns because their horns had that twist of. That's the legend.
Silly snake.
And no more over here.
Swertihan mo pag nakita mo yung mga dito. Tatago na.
You could download the interactive zoo map today at bronxzoo.com/today for directions to all exhibits and details of what's there and event times like animal feedings. As we're around this next bend, our trip is almost over. The Wildlife Conservation Society manages 5 parks right here in New York City. The Bronx Zoo, the Central Park. He's the red panda. He's there, but they gave him access to stay in or come out, and we know he's not coming out today because he's okay, but it's just too hot. They're from very cold weather, high in the Himalayan mountains, so don't want to disappoint people. Yeah, we haven't seen him all day, and he's not coming out. He's gonna sleep inside. They're crepuscular animals, so they means they're more active during dawn and dusk. So if he's not sleeping in the tree, he's sleeping inside. Bronx Zoo also manages the Central Park Zoo, the Queen Zoo, Prospect Park Zoo, and the New York Aquarium at Coney Island. We're just stopping for a moment. It's an automated stop at the signal light. We'll be moving shortly. There's no train in front of us at the platform. Please remain seated. We've got to check, make sure nobody's standing before the train moves. Okay, thank you. WCS also has scientists, field researchers, and eco guards in the field at over 300 sites in more than 60 countries around the world, working to save wildlife and their habitats. Your visit today helps us to help wildlife, so we thank you.
Shout out.
You can try the Himalayan highlands to see the red pandas out over there. It's a short walk from Wild Asia, about 10 minutes. It's where you might also see snow leopards, another of Asia's big cats. It's about a 10-minute walk from Wild Asia on the way to Tiger Mountain. You might actually get to see a tiger. Please remain seated till the train stops and the doors open.
right here now.
Watch your step when exiting your car. Those of you in the bottom row have a step up.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
I think so. Ready to go fight a rhino?
I'm gonna fight a snake.
We're gonna fight the snake. Look at this snake charmer.
Guacamole. It's a boy. Nothing to do.
Love shout out everyone. Yes. Sana mag-enjoy kayo dito sa aking premiere.